still remains. Seriously, like, Misty Knight got breast implants, right?
Yeah.
They're huge. They're way bigger than Luke Cage. Okay. I was still stuck on that. Anyway, I'm Matt Geiger alongside the mad scientist Brian Banner and the head chef at Royal Dragon Chinese Buffet, Jeff Hornacek.
Thank you.
We shall grade this series on our 5 criteria: acting, story, best scene, impacts on pop culture, and theories. So, to kick it off with the cast, Jeff, you're our Marvel guy, our connoisseur, if you will. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm like a proud father having just watched this show. First off, when Stick cuts off his fucking hand to get away from Alexandra, is that not every single one of us at like one of our girlfriends' like friends' birthdays where you have to go out to the bar? Like, I will literally chop off a limb just to get the fuck out of here. It does not matter right now. Acting and cast. So again, as I always like to do, I'm going to give you a positive and a negative. My positive, I really liked Sigourney Weaver as Alexandra in this. Sigourney Weaver is just a great actress to me in general. She did a great job of being this very intimidating sort of behind-the-scenes presence. She was intellectually dominant. Everything she did made sense. To me, the scarier villains are the ones who are calm and not like screaming at you. You're like, why the fuck are you so relaxed right now? She was incredible, and just a nice shot in the arm, because the villains in Netflix, for the most part, have been incredible.
Yeah.
Someone who was horrendous, who we've talked about before, and I'll get to him later, because I'm going to throw up if I have to do it too long now, but Finn Jones as Iron Fist. I gave this guy a second chance, and I feel like the girlfriend dating Chad from Alpha Beta Sigma, who cheated on her twice, he let me down again. So Finn Jones is my negative here.
Banner, our X-Men / Fox man. Go ahead.
Look, I love Rosario Dawson, right?
Yeah.
But go back to Rent or become Ahsoka Tano. Other than that, I'm over you.
Go back to Rent?
Wow.
Jesus. How would she go? All right.
I'm over Nurse Claire, okay? I've been over her for a while. Like, she's in Daredevil, okay. She shows up in Jessica Jones, I get it. Then all of a sudden she's this big, huge love interest in Luke Cage. Don't really like it. Then you get her in Iron Fist and she's just there. And then now you have her again here in Defenders. No. Just leave. Go away. I'm over you. See you later.
I agree with you that I talk to Marvel fans about this all the time. You know, I'm a huge DC fan. They're like, man, it all connects. And I was like, well, the way you connect it sometimes is cool with newspaper clippings in the background. You kind of got to pay attention, or a little line, which is really cool. But the way they just kind of connected through the night nurses, I think, is kind of weak.
Not even nurses. It's nurse.
Yeah, it's just her. I'm waiting for Rachel McAdams to show up in something. But I understand where you're coming from. For me, it's pretty simple, man. Finn Jones sucked. Jessica Jones, I've never seen. I watched all of Daredevil and some Iron Fist. I never got into Jessica Jones, but she got better as it went, I felt, and she was one of the strongest characters in this. Cox and Coulter fucking killed it.
So good.
Coulter was not the problem in Luke Cage. The story was they killed Cottonmouth too soon, and he didn't really have anyone to fight because no one gave a fuck about Diamondback. He is great in this. Cox is Cox.
Charlie Cox is incredible, man.
Foggy and Karen I liked because they weren't in it very much, and they didn't annoy me, so that was cool. And I'll just talk about the Hand casting. I don't give a shit about the Hand. I've read a lot of comics when I was a kid about the Hand, never really cared about him. They made me care about him in this. And for everyone saying, including me, I'm going to actually make fun of myself. I say that Marvel doesn't get villains right very much. They did in Spider-Man Homecoming, but they do all the time in Netflix, like Jeff says. And there's even some villains I don't give a shit about, but in Netflix I really care about. So going right into story.
I got one more. We got to talk about Simone Missick as Misty Knight. She was the perfect glue to keep this story together. She did just enough to not be overbearing, but she didn't do too much to where she took away from the main characters.
Yep.
Yeah. She definitely had a lot on her chest on this series. Damn it, I don't have my bell out. Ding. Anyway, going into story. For me, I'll just take this. The first 2 episodes were really slow for me, and I know Jeff's going to say you love a slow cook. Yeah, when it's an origin story, I like a slow cook, but we've watched 5 seasons actually, 2 of Daredevil, of slow cooks. I wanted this to take off a lot sooner than it did. After the first 2 episodes, though, I thought it was up with Daredevil. I thought it was a really, really fantastic show. And other than that, when Iron Fist finally got captured, I thought the show got a lot better because you had three of the best actors and you threw out Finn Jones. So, Jeff, story.
So, Banner and I obviously have seen every Marvel Netflix. I know, Geiger, you've seen most of them, I think, except Jessica Jones. The casual fan out there has maybe seen Daredevil and Luke Cage or some of the other ones, and they want to know, can I figure the story out when I watch this? I'll be totally honest. You could skip Jessica Jones and Luke Cage because they catch up with their characters and their involvement in this pretty quick. But if you hadn't seen Iron Fist or Daredevil Season 2 coming into this, you're going to be really confused and almost to an annoying point, I think. One thing I did like about the story, though, is, and Banner, I'm hoping this isn't stealing your thunder, but I felt like all the Defenders had a very viable reason to be there and to be involved. Even Jessica Jones, who in her whole show is she does not fucking want to do superhero stuff, legitimately, and hates when she has to. She was kind of like that in this show, and of course, when she shows back up at the Royal Dragon is where you really just want to start doing push-ups. So I really like the story. I thought they did a great job tying up all the hand through lines, and I felt every character's motivation made sense, and it's just not something that distracted me, which is always good.
Yeah, I'll echo everything you said. They did a very good job of keeping all four of the main Defender characters true to who they were in their seasons. I thought that's really important. I think that's something that when you have an ensemble show or movie like that could be very difficult to do, but they did it very, very well. I also like how they took several different character mesh-ups and started to develop those and plant seeds for later on. They had a lot of scenes with Luke Cage and Iron Fist together, obviously setting up for a potential Heroes for Hire thing. They had a lot with Colleen Wing and Misty Knight together, a lot of dialogue between them, setting up a Daughter of Dragons together. So they were doing a lot of posturing for later on, but it was very subtle and it wasn't distracting from the overall story, which I thought was very, very good. And again, I'm a little disappointed that this was basically an Iron Fist Season 2 as far as the storyline goes.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with because that means that hopefully we don't get an Iron Fist Season 2.
All right. We had 8 episodes, a little over 8 hours of television Netflix to watch. And picking a best scene is really hard in this because there's a lot of great fight scenes in it. So, Jeff, I'll ask you first. Best scene.
God, I want to take any of the awesome fight scenes, but I'm going to either leave those for you guys or just make it. If no one says them, guys, and you're listening to this, it's implicit. We fucking loved any scene where the Defenders were kicking ass together. But my favorite scene, actually, this might surprise you guys, it didn't even involve the Defenders. It was in Episode 7 when all the ancillary characters from the respective shows were together in the police station interacting with each other. I think for the first time, number one, it just made sense plot-wise. I didn't want, like, Karen to be getting kidnapped the whole time, and, like, that's the obvious motivation for Daredevil to be involved. But also, it was just really cool to see all these people from the Netflix universe come together and basically anecdotally connect their stories about what they've been through with all the other characters. And also, it was just great acting. I mean, it's the best acting Eldon Henson's done in his life as Foggy. I'm even counting the Mighty Duck movies, so you know that's impressive. And I don't know, it just made sense. It was cool, and it was the first time that I ever remember watching a TV show, which normally flies by the seat of its pants, thinking, wow, they really planned this shit way in advance. How about you guys?
Banner?
Yeah, that was a great scene. I loved how the story brought all those characters together as well. I'm going to go with the Chinese restaurant scene.
Why do we hate each other? Because we always pick the same thing. Okay, go ahead.
I know, right? God. It's a great scene because you have...
It is.
Like, you're like, wait, you know you and you know you, but who the fuck is this guy? Wait, why are you with him? And it was very quick. Again, if you haven't seen the other shows or it's been a while since you saw Daredevil Season 1 or Season 2 or even Jessica Jones, bringing everybody up to speed of how everybody knows everybody and kind of quickly connecting them and then going, okay, now we have to fight this person. They also added a little bit of comedy in there where Iron Fist is slowly starting to figure out, hey, I can use my money to my advantage. Yeah, I just paid their rent for 4 months. Oh, and we had to buy 4 of everything. So are those the pork ones coming out? No, they're shrimp.
2 things.
Like, it was perfect dialogue. Got us caught up. It was a great scene, and it's really the first time that we see all those characters acting with each other, even as bad as Finn Jones was.
Yeah, that was incredible. I'm glad that it was basically a whole episode. And Geiger, I'll lead this right into you. How hungry or how bad did that episode make you crave Chinese food? And then how awesome is it that that's some of the best scenes with Stick that we've seen in the whole Netflix universe also?
So I'm picking that scene as well. However, for a different reason, and it's just because of subliminal messaging. Whenever I watch BVS and Affleck's getting ready to fight Superman and Alfred's making the shit, and he's just lifting weights, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and fucking kill it. Whenever I watch that scene, I ordered Chinese takeout that fucking night, and it was fantastic. Maybe probably not as good as a Royal Dragon, but whenever a scene can make me do something, like if I watch a scene about someone drinking, a Pacifico, and I go buy a 12-pack of Pacifico, I'm like, damn, that scene must have been good because I'm buying the beer, or I'm lifting weights, or I'm eating Chinese food. That was, I think it was episode 4, I believe.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4, one of those.
A great scene. So, impacts on pop culture. Banner, I'll throw it to you so you can take mine and maybe I can add to it.
Marvel did it again. They brought a bunch of movies together, and they made the Avengers. They brought a bunch of seasons of shows together and made another great show. I think that as far as if we had to rank all these shows top to bottom, I think this is third, still behind both of the Daredevil seasons, just above Jessica Jones, which I really enjoyed. But it's fantastic. I think it's huge. I think that Marvel is doing something in history that we've never seen before, and they continue to outdo themselves. So it's great. I'm excited to see if they start to bring other, maybe a Blade series in, or other characters, maybe lesser known or even well known. Give them their own shows and see what we can do with them.
Jeff, impacts on pop culture.
I don't want to act like the sky is falling because I sound like a spoiled brat as a Marvel fan. I've been very, very lucky. But I was starting to think that maybe they had kind of hit the proverbial wall with Netflix series because to me, Luke Cage, especially the last 4 episodes, were definitely not the strongest that they put out on Netflix. And Iron Fist as a whole, although I did like the series, it was nowhere near the level of the first 2 seasons of Daredevil or Jessica Jones. So this to me just reaffirms that they're still on very solid footing. They're telling great stories, very character-driven, and somehow getting the most out of every cent in their budget because it was clearly all spent on stunt work, I think, for this, and money well spent. I'll say that, because the fucking action in this is incredible.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Daredevil first, then was it Jessica Jones, then Daredevil Season 2?
Yep. Then
so
Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
The problem with it is, to put it in perspective, is Daredevil is their Batman.
Yeah.
So, Daredevil shows will always be better than any other show because the story arc's better, the character's better, and it just resonates with more people. What I kind of took from this is that I thought it should have been longer. It was only 8 episodes. I'm rewatching Daredevil Season 2 because it's one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. And it's 13 episodes. I believe Season 1's 13 or 14 episodes. Luke Cage was a lot of episodes. I believe it was 12. I just don't understand when you have them all together with that many story arcs going on why you only had 8. That was my only problem with this. I felt like it could have gone longer. But the impact on pop culture to me is that they're connecting. I think they're going to bring some of the big stars to Netflix. I mean, Misty Knight lost her arm. Is Robert Downey Jr. going to show up?
Depends on if he dies. When he dies.
But somehow she's going to have to get an arm, and Iron Man in the comics gives her the arm. So Tony Stark makes it. So that was my impact, is that I'm waiting for a Chris Evans or somebody big actually to show up on Netflix.
Renner has said he's game. I don't know if you count him as a big name, but he would love to do it.
I would count Renner as a big name. He's probably the best actor they have besides Downey Jr., bar none. I think he's even better than Ruffalo.
Give me the Hawkeye Blade season, man. I'd be so down for that.
Okay, let's go into theories. Banner, I'm going to let you kick this off because there's a theory out there that we need to talk about that is basically about your family.
It's insane.
So,
it won't happen, but it's insane.
Yeah, it won't happen. I think I'm going to say this is one that I actually read online. When Matt wakes up in the nunnery, they say, get Sister Maggie. Apparently, Sister Maggie is Matt Murdock's mom. So it'd be interesting to see if that's the storyline they go down. We obviously know he's in some sort of church setting. Jeff, I'm not going to steal your thunder because you're the one who brought that up. But I really hope that because we're getting Daredevil season 3 before we get an Iron Fist 2 or Iron Fist shows back up, we don't have to see Iron Fist, quote unquote, protect his city, because that's just going to be fucking terrible. So I'm really glad we're getting Jessica Jones and another season of Daredevil first. I would love to see Luke Cage season 2 have 50% Iron Fist in it, because I think that would, I think to make Luke Cage and Iron Fist season 2s the same would really help make those two franchises a little bit stronger.
Yep.
Because they really had good chemistry off of each other in this show. So if they can build on that, I think that'd be great.
First off, before we go to Jeff, the reviews on this were kind of skewed, and the reason is because you got Daredevil and no one else. I don't think anyone cares about seeing Iron Fist 2. No one cares about seeing a Jessica Jones 2. After the sour stuff, check out our review on Luke Cage. We did not like it after about the first 6 episodes. After they killed Cottonmouth, we did not like it. They need to bring Blade in. They need to bring someone else in. Ghost Rider, maybe from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They need to bring someone else in, because I think that's why Defenders was getting so-so reviews, is because you had Daredevil and everyone else was just kind of they were there. They were fine. They added to it, but you need someone else with some pop, and that's Blade. Jeff, talk about the elephant in the room that no one else is talking about this after scene where Daredevil's alive.
All right, first off, I have so many theories that, like, you could just give me my own show here and I could go through it. Real quick, I would like to see the Serpent Society drawn in. We've seen Diamondback. I think that could be a cool villain for the next series of next season of the Defenders. We saw Kevin Feige teased it as a Captain America sequel before they announced Civil War, so we know it's on Marvel's radar. The elephant in the room, of course, is the very famous comic arc where Daredevil is with Nightcrawler, who ends up becoming a priest in India after his days with the X-Men. Obviously, Fox has the rights to the X-Men. Marvel does not, in terms of what they do in the movies. There's been a lot of debate, and I was reading a lot about this today, if Marvel still retains the television rights to the X-Men characters. It has not been confirmed, but they licensed the X-Men characters to Fox to make Legion. So everything I've read is Marvel could still hypothetically put Wolverine in a TV show if it wanted to. So this could very much be a legitimate theory. And I did not know about the TV thing before I came on the podcast with you guys. I'm just going to plant that seed out there. Tweet at us how stupid we are, but we have a year and a half or 2 years whenever Daredevil Season 3 comes out, and it could very much be a possibility that Nightcrawler is somehow involved.
Listen, I'm just going to take off these guys' theories because I have a theory about Foggy and Karen, but who gives a fuck? They're Foggy and Karen. Everyone is going to say, no, you guys are idiots. His sister Maggie, that's his mom. That's fine, but no one's asking the real question. How the fuck did he get out of 100 stories down in New York? Who could have done that? You would have to teleport. The only person that could have done that in the Marvel universe, I was thinking about this all day when I was drinking at the pool, is maybe Doctor Strange, because he could alter time, maybe? But someone would have to teleport down there, get him, and then leave. The only person that could do that is Nightcrawler from the X-Men. Is the only fucking person. So whenever you're at a bar having this conversation, yes, it's his mother. Yes, it's Sister Maggie. But Sister Maggie, a nun, can't fucking go 100 feet deep in New York and get him when the building's about to collapse. You got to be able to teleport.
And who's
the
priest?
Right? Like, no one's asking the real question. How did he get there? We know who got him there, but how did he get there?
Heard it here first, but probably not first, but whatever.
Okay, we got a Twitter question from Lyle Hinze. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. At MD Faithful. Let's go back to him. How much is it acting versus writing for Iron Fist when the majority of his dialogue is, I am the Iron Fist? I'm going to kick it to you guys. For me, first, I did not see the Iron Fist. I watched like an episode or two. I just couldn't get into it. He's horrendous. And whenever someone says he's on Game of Thrones, that's false. He was on like two episodes of Game of Thrones. He's like the gay guy that one of the Baratheon guys had sex with or something, and that was about it. So, Banner, what do you think of Finn Jones? Is it writing or is it just bad acting?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of a mix of both. I think it's about 70-30 Finn Jones's fault. If you look at the scenes where he doesn't have to be as serious and he's not leading the scenes, he's bearable. But the problem is once he has to lead a scene, it gets unwatchable. So it is definitely his fault. But again, if he just keeps saying, no, I am the Iron Fist, I don't understand, I am the Iron Fist. Yeah, I get to an extent. You can say that in different ways with the writing. But at the same time, you can't give Finn Jones that much other things to say because then he's going to try harder and it's going to be even worse. Jeff.
It's a great question. And by great, I mean it gives us another opportunity to shit on Finn Jones. So thank you, Lyle. It's threefold. Number one, Iron Fist, because he is inherently the fish out of water coming from Kunlun to New York, is going to be written like a dude who doesn't understand social cues. That's the first part. So it's difficult writing there, but you have to write the character that way. Number two, Finn Jones is a horrendous actor. Period. He is awful. Zero charisma, and he spits out his lines. I don't even want to say a robot, because we have robots listening that are better actors. And number three, the majority of his scenes in The Defenders, he is with incredible actors who, to be totally frank, embarrass him. Sigourney Weaver, who has been acting since Finn Jones was a twinkle in his dad's eye, puts him in a fucking body bag. Charlie Cox almost feels bad at how good he's acting comparatively to Finn Jones in a lot of these scenes. And then the scenes with Scott Glenn stick with him. I mean, it's like watching Florida State play like a 6th grade women's basketball team in football. It's insane. So it's a combination of all three, but in summation, Finn Jones is a bad actor.
All right, guys. That's The Defenders for you. Go watch it. It's great. And then you'll probably go rewatch Daredevil Season 2 like I am. Our website, bro4squad.com. Check us out. We got squad blogs. We got the Bro4 Squad Hall of Fame. Twitter, tweet at us at Bro4 Squad. We'd love to answer your questions. We have episodes every week. Facebook, Bro4 Squad Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. Until then, I guess we'll see you for The Punisher, which looks fucking badass.
Hell yeah. Maybe Misty Knight has
a shotgun back. Fuck yeah.
Maybe Misty Knight has bionic tits.
One can only hope.